feel like today's weather is very applicable for this video, which is all about motivation and keeping your enthusiasm up when the weather is like this and you ride horses or you own horses. It's all about motivation and just lots of tips to help keep you going through what, let's be honest, is a pretty rotten time of year. If you own horses, today it is raining, it's windy, and it says it's 4 degrees and it feels more like it's 1 degree. It's just not pleasant, and my enthusiasm for horses in general at the moment is at an all-time low. But I think that's the same for all equestrians. It's a tough time of year, so I would say that these tips are things that I kind of dip in and out of. So some of them I do all the time, others I dip in and out when I need them, but they all do work, and I just think you've got to do what you can do to get yourself through difficult times, to help you keep ploughing on, and yeah, so that's why I thought I'd put this video together. It's a little bit windy, so I might have to start this somewhere else, but yeah, currently my motivation is pretty low. My first tip, which actually fits in very well with today's weather, is decent riding wear. So good waterproofs, good warm clothing to ride in, because there's nothing more off-putting if it's raining or it's freezing, knowing that you've got clothes that are going to mean that you're going to freeze to death. So like today, I've got my really good waterproof coat on, so at least I know I'm going to be dry, and it's also really flexible. Thermal gloves. I'm not know if I can switch this around. Hopefully you can see it. That's my Sam Shield winter liner, absolute godsend. Keep my ears warm. I've got thermal riding boots on. Again, I've got winter riding socks on. You just have to go all out. Sadly, it's costly, but it's well worth it, because, like I say, if you know you're in for a wet day like I am, at least if I'm wrapped up and I know I'm waterproof, it makes all the difference. Like, at least I think, oh, it's fine. I'll be dry, I'll be warm. Whereas if you've got a coat that's not particularly waterproof, there is nothing worse than thinking, great, pouring with rain, and now I'm going to get absolutely soaked and it's cold. So buy yourself decent waterproofs and thermal riding clothing, so that at least when you do have to ride in these horrible conditions, you'll be warm and dry, and hopefully you don't get any chilblains. Preparation is key. Don't we already all know this? The more organised and prepared you can be for the week ahead, the more motivated and on track you're likely to stay. And I think there's something really satisfying about sitting on the weekend before and filling out the diary of exactly what you're going to do with your horse or horses, and in detail as well. I think is really important. Not just putting out, going to do a flat work session, exactly the aim of the session, the exercises you might be using. I think all these things can really help keep you motivated to ride throughout the week, because I'm the worst person that if I'm driving home and I haven't planned what I'm doing with my horses, I've talked myself out of it by the time I've got home every time. I'm really bad for that. So yeah, being prepared will help. I know I've got a 2015 to 2016 diary. It's just for the purpose of this video. I use my phone now for all my weekly diary stuff. And think about what days you do what on. For example, Monday's normally a great day to jump on, because you can get the school ready the night before. Again, I like to pick days off depending on my work schedule. So if, for example, Thursday I'm always absolutely knackered on, then Thursday will always be a day off for the horses. And if I'm doing a schooling session, like I've said, make sure I put in exactly what exercises I'm doing, what I'm working towards, and that just helps me stay focused. And yeah, the less I have to think on that night or day, the better. So yeah, I think also to remember as well that it doesn't always have to be ridden work. If you're lacking time and light, think about other things like groundwork, long reining and lunging, which takes up a little bit less time but still gives your horse a good workout. Great music playlist is absolutely vital to keep you motivated and enthusiastic when it comes to riding in the winter. You know, when you've just got those few good tunes that really give you that buzz to get the job done. Legendary, absolute favourite of mine. I love riding to this with Corporal especially. I'd love to make it into a freestyle one day as well. But yeah, I have a very random selection of music, but there's just everything that's upbeat and it's just going to keep you focused and thinking, right, I can get this job done. It's like if you go jogging, you need good music, don't you? So yeah, get yourself a really good playlist that you know is going to inspire you to get the job done. And interestingly, L to the OG there from Succession, actually is in my elementary freestyle. It was the canter work is to it, and it's actually a rap with a few swear words in it, but luckily you don't hear that in my freestyle. You don't have the voiceover, you just have the music part. But yeah, good playlist, absolute necessity to getting us through the winter. And today is particularly rotten because it's raining even harder than it was yesterday, so I've got this playlist going. Goal setting and competition aims can be a great way to motivate yourself. For me, especially putting competition dates down in the diary, that really does help me. I always like a good aim, and I'm very competition minded. So if I know there's something in the diary, even if it's like 3, 4, 5 months down the line, it will keep me on track. Goal setting is also really important. It doesn't have to just be in the new year. It can be any time of the year. I sort of like to do a goal over the next month, which is quite achievable. It's always good to be able to achieve them. A kind of middle ground goal, like over the winter, over the next few months, what I'm working towards, aiming for, and then a kind of future goal. So maybe a certain show next year, or qualifying for something, or just something that's more over the next year. I do think goal setting can be really helpful. Then these were competition dates for Sienna. Not going to lie, probably aiming a little high at the moment, being that she's not fully backed. And she's also going to be 4 next year. So if she doesn't make any shows, it doesn't matter. She's still very young, but it's nice to look, and it's nice to have kind of little goals and aims just in case it might happen. So yeah, for me, looking and searching for dates and putting them down in the diary really motivates me and kind of just gives me that little boost of energy to like, come on, we can do it. So I love to fill them out. Sometimes I put these up in the tack room on the whiteboard. Other times I fill all my diary up. And like here, I've just put it in on the notebook on my phone. So I can also look at it, because that's another good thing. It's nice to be able to check in and think, okay, it's only like 3 months to this show, or 2 months to this outing, or whatever it might be. It's good to be like visually be able to see it and just remind yourself. And honestly, in the middle of winter, when it's pouring down and you don't want to go outside, you look at that and you think, competition days are coming back. I need to keep working hard, and I need to ride those horses. Another tip is looking back over your past riding photos and videos. I just think there's something about looking back what you've done in the previous year or years, and you just find it so motivating, seeing photos of yourself competing and how well your horse may be going, or the change in the horse from all the work you've put into it. That can be so inspiring, and especially, like I say, in the middle of winter when it's really dark and it's grim outside and you don't feel like doing anything. When you watch back videos, I especially love going back over kind of important competitions. Like this was the Winter Championships for me, and I just love watching those videos back, thinking all the hard work is worth it. So when I'm feeling least like I want to go outside, watching little clips from things like this, I think, yep, right, I've got to work harder because I want to achieve even more, move up the levels. And yeah, it can be so inspiring and so motivating. So make like a little album on your phone of just all some great photos and videos that are going to help give you that boost when you need it most. This one's a bit of a hit and miss with people, generally speaking, and that is motivational videos online. Now, there are loads on YouTube, and they're not something that I personally use, or I haven't used recently anyway. I think maybe in my teenage years I might have done, but just occasionally there are some good quotes or just a really inspirational story or saying in these videos that might just inspire you or motivate you, or just give you the confidence or belief that you can get through a tough time. And let's be honest, in the middle of winter when it's really muddy and the horses are being nightmares and you're not managing to do everything, then it can feel like you're really struggling. And sometimes these videos are just what you need to hear. It's just like, someone's giving you a little pep talk, helping you pick yourself back up and keep yourself motivated and keep ploughing on. So like I say, it's not for everyone, but they might do the job for you once in a blue moon when you just need that little bit of inspiration. It stopped raining. Yippee for that. One of the other tips is about being grateful, a bit of gratitude. Let's be honest, when the weather has been as manky as it has, you might be able to see all the rain, excuse my wheelbarrow full. It can be hard to love riding when the weather is like this and want to go and ride. And sometimes, and I do this as well, you just got to be a little bit grateful and remind yourself that actually we're really jolly lucky to have animals that we get to enjoy and compete and ride. And however tough winter is, personally for me, being that I work with them full time, I'd rather this than working in an office personally. Don't always say that when it's pouring with rain and it's, you know, really cold outside, but a bit of gratitude and reminding yourself that actually we're really lucky to do what we do often does the trick for me. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, okay, it's time to stop being a fair weather rider and get on with it, and look forward to all the exciting things we get to do with them. So yeah, every now and then you just need a little reminder. Just remind yourself how lucky we really are, and quite often that can be pretty motivating. I think finally, and I don't know whether you'd say it's a tip or not, but I think you just have to be kind to yourself through winter. It is tough going. You are having to deal with weather, difficult horses, mud, short days. It's just tricky, and I think the worst thing you can do is pile a load of extra work on top of yourself. Then when you don't achieve it, you feel super annoyed or frustrated, and then feel like you failed. So I think be realistic with your goals of what you can achieve in a week and how much you can actually ride. If your horse only gets ridden twice a week, it only gets ridden twice a week. You know, spring will turn up at some point and you can get going again even more so. But yeah, I just think you have to remember you can't do everything. You can't fit it all in. It's just not possible. So yeah, if you have to skip a day's riding, you have to skip a day's riding. If you feel like you can't do any more, go home, and once you've done the horse, but go home, you know, put your feet up, put that telly on or something, you know, treat yourself every now and then. I think kind of having like a few cheat days throughout the winter for riding. So maybe have 5 cheat days where if it's really rubbish weather, you can use one of your cheat days and take it off. Obviously, I know everyone still has to look after their horse, but you know what I mean, take it off from riding. I thought it was rather an abrupt end to this video, so I just wanted to say that winter is really tricky when you own horses, and you do have to dig deep, and sometimes staying motivated is really hard work, but you're all doing an amazing job, and we're nearly at the shortest day of the year, which I always think is a big turning point. We're going in the right direction after that, so keep going. You're doing amazing.